Hello, sports fan. This is Stephen here for Sports Choice Plus. I'm bringing you a very special breakdown. I'm going to be covering the overall draft day winners and losers. I'm going to bring you the top three of each. Before I get right into that, I want to make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel so you can get all the updates and all the breakdowns. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Looking at draft day this year, we had a lot of surprises. We had a lot of things that went as we thought they would, but then we had a couple of things that went a little different than we thought they would. So I'm going to be covering the top three winners and then the top three losers. You're going to just sit back, get some popcorn, buckle up. It's going to be a quick little show. Overall, I think that this NFL draft had a lot of talent in it. This NFL draft had a lot of good teams in it, and you're looking at guys that were looking to get better overall from start to finish. And I'm just looking at coming in at the losers. We're going to do losers first because this is tough. I'm going to start at number three. Number three, I think the Miami Dolphins had the worst draft out of anybody. I know that they lost a pick, but you got to think. South Carolina getting Sam Smith, I don't like the move. Running back Devon out of Texas A&M, don't like that. Elijah Higgins, that was an okay pick. And Michigan's Ryan Haynes, that was a terrible pick. You think about what overall Miami needs, and I preface this by saying this. I think Miami just needed the trimmings to support their offensive line. I think the offensive line just needs a little bit more beef. I think that from the defensive standpoint, you front-loaded that with Chubb. You front-loaded it with Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey. And you got pieces all over the place on defense. Offensively, your wide receivers are straight. You need to bulk up so you can protect Tua. From the standpoint, this was an excellent draft, and I think up until the fifth or sixth round, you had a lot of different picks. They had several different picks. They could have gone up and got an offensive lineman. I think that at least there was 8 quality offensive linemen in this draft. That's more than enough time that they would have had to go up and use the 51st, the 84th, or the 197th pick. And I'm not talking about just guys that are just going to make the team. I'm talking about a lot of these guys are road raiders. A lot of these guys are good at the run. They're good at the pass. You have specialists. You have different types of offensive line in this draft. A lot of these guys are gargantuan size. You're talking about upwards of 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", plus 300 pounds. So you're looking at the Miami Dolphins have wasted an opportunity to get better. I don't feel like a lot of these draft picks are going to pan out for them. And from a standpoint of just what the quality of that draft was, you had a lot of different skill sets all over the place. And it wasn't just one pick that got them at the number 3 position as far as that goes, but it was just overall the type of draft that they needed. That they needed a draft that was going to be a lot better for complementing what they already have. So they didn't need to go out and go get something crazy. They just needed to refurbish and kind of do some depth on different players. And I don't think, positions, not players, but I don't think that there was a suitable draft for them. Coming in at number 2 for the losers. And this is not because of what they've drafted. It's just how they drafted the Chicago Bears. Considering what they got, the offensive tackle, Darnell Wright from Tennessee, was a great pickup. But the moving back, the consistently moving back and just picking up draft capital, you're ready to win right now. You have a quarterback in Justin Fields, Chase Claypool. You got DJ over there at wide receiver. You need to be drafting guys now. I thought that Jalen Carter was on their board as their number 1 guy, but they flipped it with the Eagles to go back, and then they flipped it again, and then flipped it again. Like, it's a number of things that this team should have taken. Jalen Carter would have been perfect for that defensive scheme for the Chicago Bears. Not only is he possibly going to be a cornerstone, the way that guy reacted to being drafted lets me know that this means a lot to him. He's been through a lot since they won a national championship at Georgia. The off-the-field issues had a lot of questions, but trading back when you need a lot of things in this draft, and I think that you trading back missed a lot of the quality of what you could have gotten. Mind you, the kid out of Florida State, Dexter Senior. These are quality guys that they've gotten, but you're trading back when you had an opportunity to take some really solid guys. I would have liked to see them, instead of taking Stevenson, they could have got Joey Porter Jr. You still had picks that you could have traded up and gotten because this draft was top heavy with defensive talent. That's what the Bears need right now. The bettering of the offensive line, the bettering of the cornerback position, the bettering of the linebacker position, anything you can do to front load this team and help them get positions to help essentially, Justin Fields and company win. Every single week you need something to do in the NFL to win. So I feel like the Bears, they didn't have a bad draft from a standpoint of who they drafted. It's just how they kept trading back. It's how they kept passing on guys that can potentially start for their team now and make plays for their team right now. That's the biggest reason why they're number 2 on this list. And coming in at number 1, I think the Washington Commanders. I think Washington has been very disrespectful to their offense from the standpoint of you need some offensive linemen. You can use some help at the running back position. There's a number number of things you can do to improve the offense. You always can use offense in the NFL. You can never have too many offensive weapons. I would much rather have a gluttony of offensive weapons than them just keep throwing darts at defense. Ever since Ron Rivera has been the coach, they're just throwing the ball here at defense during the draft. They're not even looking at the offense. You got a new quarterback, right? Why not get him some new toys? Why not get him some new stuff? You got a new offensive coordinator. Why not supply the offense with more playmakers? I don't feel like cornerback is your biggest need right now. From the standpoint of them taking, and no disrespect, you go corner, center, O tackle, you go edge, running back, edge. You should have gone in. You should have literally free falled into offense with the position that you're picking. You're number 16, you're number 47, 97. You had a lot to offer this draft. And from the standpoint, you really don't have a different opportunity. You can't count on NFL drafts every year being this deep as this was, because I feel like this draft is going to produce a lot of Hall of Famers. I feel like a lot of these guys, they're solid on and off the field. They're going to be playmakers. You're looking at the Texans having 2 possible candidates for Hall of Fame. I think that Stroud and I think that Anderson are going to be there long term. I think these guys are going to have long careers, and I think that from the standpoint, they've really positioned themselves to be good. I mean, a lot of these teams have improved. It wouldn't shock me if the Seahawks made a big push. It wouldn't shock me if the Lions had a big push. It wouldn't shock me if the New England Patriots got back on track with the drafts overall that they've drafted. They may have had one of the bad picks that they didn't like, but overall they came to play as far as the draft days. The winners for the draft, I have to go with the Seahawks. When I look at the Seahawks, what did the Seahawks essentially do with their draft? The Seahawks said, hey, we've got a plethora of needs. We're going in corner. We're going wide receiver. They're going edge. I really like Jackson Smith out of Ohio State. I didn't really like Witherspoon, the number 1 overall pick. But you got to think, though, they shored up a lot of issues that they had on defense with the defensive end and defensive tackle spots. They went ahead and replenished Kenny McIntosh, Georgia running back. They've got solid guys. You're looking at their positions of center and offensive guard being a need. They really strike the hot coals with a lot of these picks, and you can see they went a lot of SEC picks on this, a lot of SEC picks, and you start to see the translation from SEC to NFL when these guys are really balling, because the level of competition is pretty well. Next up, Seattle did a great job. I'm just looking at their picks. It's just a great job. Looking at the standpoint from the Los Angeles Rams, they're number 2 on this board. They went from F them picks, so we got all these picks. From trading away different players to getting back all these picks, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They hit the bell with a lot of these picks. I like this pickup of Stetson Bennett, the backup. You're going to need a backup anyway for Matthew Stafford. He's going to get hurt. You're looking at them cleaned up with the tight end from Clemson, them cleaning up with Georgia offensive lineman, them cleaning up with Mississippi State, Zach Evans at the running back position. They got the safety, Jason Taylor. He's underrated. Jason Taylor second. You're looking at what these guys are doing. They fill good voids that they needed because they're in salary cap hell. So they don't have a lot of money to spend. So they have to draft those pieces. They have to hit on these draft moves. And I think that they had the best overall, just from top to bottom, because of so many picks they have, draft as far as overall plethora of players. They didn't have a first round pick, as you know, but getting some of these quality offensive linemen, getting quality defensive linemen, they did pretty well overall, and they restored their wide receiver position just a little bit. So I like their draft from that standpoint. And number 1, just in general, and this was a very impressive draft. Not only did they trade for DeAndre Swift during the draft, and they used little draft capital to do that. You're looking at Jalen Carter. You're looking at Nolan Smith. You're looking at Ringo from Georgia. You're looking at them also getting Sidney Brown from Illinois. Texas cleaned up with a defensive tackle. They literally controlled the draft from start to finish. They were active, moving back up into the draft, moving back. And then you keep in mind, they're there from a standpoint of they lost a lot in free agency. They also regained a lot in free agency. And a lot is needs to be said from them going to the University of Georgia, picking and plucking and plucking. A lot of these guys are going to feel comfortable coming to Philly. When you think about them being drafted, they're going to have guys on the team that they've trusted from years past, that they've played with, they've gone to bat with, and that chemistry coming in is going to help them be ahead of other rookies. Because you got to think, Jalen Carter is cool with the other guys, Jordan Davis. You got to think, they're Nolan Smith. The connections that they have with these Georgia guys, this is going to make it better. You got Georgia guys all over the roster now. So now you're looking at them gelling, them showing them the ropes. Hey, this is where you live. This is where you eat. This is where you do this. Rookies helping other first-year players. I mean, first-year players helping other rookies, and now they're getting ahead of it because they're feeling more comfortable. So I think right now, this is big. This is big. And I feel like Philly won. Philly won. Philly has won free agency. They've won the draft. Howie is really killing it right now. So who's your 3 winners? Who's your 3 losers? Get in the comment section. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Definitely check out Sports Choice Press for all the breakdowns and all the updates. And we'll see you on the very next video.